All right. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Wednesday GK class. And Kisha, whenever you're ready to share the PPT, because I'm not going to say anything till you see the first picture and you tell me what I'm going to speak about today. It's something you know about. And okay, so this is a slide of people you already know and you already have seen some of their pictures earlier, right? And the names are also there. Somebody, Altaf, can you just read out the names very quickly, please?
I'm audible. Hello.
Yes.
First name is Mother Teresa, and second one Rabindranath Tagore, and third is Amartya Sen, and fourth Kailash Satyarthi.
Thank you so much, Altaf. Tell me, what is common amongst these four people? Two things are common that I can think of immediately. What is common amongst? Yes? Sorry, I can't hear. Veshwari, I can't hear you. Somebody else wants to speak. I'm sorry, I can't hear Durgeshwari.
Ma'am, they are poets or writers, something. The common.
No, beta, they are not.
They all are from
They got
Indian.
Nobel Prize.
They all are from India. Thank you so much. That's the first thing. They are all from India.
Yes.
Very good. And something else which you think, look at that.
They all got Nobel
Amartya
Prize.
Sen. Sorry.
They all got Nobel Prize.
Oh, yes, they have all got Nobel Prizes. All right. For different things, but they all have Nobel Prizes. They are all Indians who have won Nobel Prizes. A person who wins a Nobel Prize is called a Nobel laureate. Okay, so if you hear that word laureate, it doesn't mean anything complicated. It's anybody who has won a Nobel Prize. Next slide, please. So why? What is this Nobel Prize? Now, for the last two sessions, I've been saying Nobel Prize, Nobel Prize, Nobel Prize. All right. But what is this Nobel Prize? Okay. So here we have a picture of this person, Alfred Nobel. And he was an inventor. He was an engineer. He was a chemist, businessman. But please also understand, he was also a poet and a playwright. It's not that if you are studying science, you only have to study science. You can have interests in many, many different things. And look at this, Freya's favorite topic, left brain and right brain, right? When people are really smart, we often see that they're using both sides of their brain. The left side, the logical side, inventor, engineer, chemist, businessman. And look at his right side, look at his creativity, poet, playwright. Isn't that interesting? So this person called Alfred Nobel is the person who started it all, started this Nobel Prize. And we're going to say a short story about how this happened. Next slide, please. So Alfred Nobel was born in a country called Sweden. There's a star on Sweden in the north of Europe. Okay, this is the map of Europe. You can see how many countries there are. And in the north, we see two countries, Sweden, and at the side of Sweden, we see Norway. Right now, please concentrate on Sweden. Sweden. Alfred Nobel was born in Sweden, and he was, next slide, please. And he was one of 8 children. All right, 8 children. His father was also an inventor and an engineer. And so his father had established small factories in which he used to produce his own little products, his own inventions. Alfred didn't go to school, but his father used to teach him. His father used to teach him, and Alfred could speak 4 languages. Again, look at the sides of the brain working. French, German, English, and also Russian, because one of his father's factories was indeed in Russia. So when his father realized that Alfred was really smart and he couldn't teach him anymore, he had private tutors to teach Alfred. This was very well known at that time, to have private tutors to teach very smart children and people, of course, who had the money to afford it. So when Alfred was quite young, he joined his father's factory in Russia, and therefore he also spoke Russian. So his father had a very, very big interest in explosives. And that's what he used to make. What is an explosive? Can you see me on the screen? Explosive. What is an explosive? Someone help me? Explosion.
Blast.
Blast. Very good. So any bomb blast is an explosion, right? So that way your Diwali bomb is an explosion, correct? So his father had a big interest in explosives, and so Alfred also, of course, got interested in that, and that is what their factories were producing. Next slide, please. This is a quote of Alfred Nobel, and can somebody read this out to me, please? Heck, would you read out this quote, please?
Yes. If I have 1,000 ideas and only one turns out to be good, I am satisfied. By Alfred
Yes.
Nobel.
Thank you. If I have 1,000 ideas, but only one turns out to be good, I'm satisfied. This is the way inventors think, right? They work and they work and they try and they try and they try and they try till they finally find something that works. And this is the way their mindset, this is how they think, and this is how Alfred Nobel thought. And he was all the time thinking of how to improve explosives. You see, all these modern explosives which we have today were not available at that time. They only had something called gunpowder, which they used to put in their old-fashioned guns. And when they used to shoot that gun, all smoke used to come out, black powder used to come out. It was a complete messy thing to do. And next slide, please. And they had only one other explosive. Only one other explosive. And on the right, the name you can see very clearly, nitroglycerin. Nitroglycerin. So they had only two explosives. One was gunpowder and one was nitroglycerin. And if you look to the picture on the left, you can see this bottle in which the nitroglycerin is there. Now, there was a huge problem with this nitroglycerin. It was unstable. Now, in chemistry, you know, some things are unstable. Unstable means they can explode any minute. Little extra heat, little extra pressure on that, and it will explode in the factory. And so nitroglycerin is a very unsafe compound. Now, in fact, Alfred Nobel's own brother died from a nitroglycerin explosion in the factory. So you can imagine how unstable this was and how important it was to find something which was safer, which would explode only when you want it to explode, not just any time. Next slide, please. And so Alfred worked hard and hard and hard, and he came with a way to make nitroglycerin safer. But his greatest invention was this one in 1867. He produced something called dynamite. You saw that word up there? Dynamite, which is what we still use today for big explosions when we need to have explosions. Kisha is going to show you a very small video of 1 minute so that you understand what dynamite is and how it works. This is how it used to work in the old days. You may have seen it in old movies. Look, saw that? Saw that? This is how it works. And
Before
what was the
1866,
use?
when engineers wanted to blow something up, they used nitroglycerin. It's very nasty stuff that has a habit of going off just when you don't want it to. Now, there was this guy, let's call him Alfred. And Alfred set out to see if he could make nitroglycerin less, how shall we say, less unpredictable. And Alfred discovered that if you absorb nitroglycerin on a silicon packing material, what you get is a more handleable, safe material, a safer explosive, dynamite. Fame and fortune followed.
Thank you, Keisha. So he came up with this thing called dynamite. Okay. Now, of course, what were they using this for? Why do you want to blow up things? Okay, for bombs. But why else? Do you know when you have to build roads, when you have to build tunnels? What's a tunnel? Tunnel.
Like
Sorry?
Ufa.
Yes. Well done. When you want to build these kind of things, you have to blow up the land, right? You have to blow the side of the mountain to make a hole in it to build a tunnel. So these explosives have a lot of use also. They are not only for violence, but they are needed in our everyday life for lots and lots of things. So when Alfred Nobel produced this dynamite, he invented this dynamite.
I'm sorry. Could you just explain what a tunnel is? Because I think there is some confusion between a cave and a tunnel. So what-
Okay. So a cave is a naturally formed. It's formed by nature. Okay. But a tunnel is formed by man. Now, when you'll go, you girls who live in Maharashtra, when you'll travel by your ST buses to your villages, your buses go through these tunnels inside the mountain, right? They make a
Ma'am,
hole.
by railway route also.
Beg your pardon?
After Kalyan station.
Oh, is it? Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
So,
Surang.
Good. So that even, on our Bombay roads, sometimes they make subways below the road for people to walk, right? That's also a tunnel. That's also a tunnel. Now, how are you going to hear? Look at Kisha's already produced pictures for us in a second. Can you see them? So many examples of tunnels. They may be for train, they may be for cars, they may be for walking.
On the freeway also there is a tunnel.
Yeah.
Before Chamber and there is this tunnel. That's
Okay,
also
great. Thank you. So see these examples. Because I don't want to speak in Hindi, right? So I'm showing you in every other way. Great. Thank you so much, Keisha. That's very, very nice of you to do that. So did you all get it now, what a tunnel is? So you have to blast that mountain or the rocks to make that passage, right? And so you need dynamite for that. So of course, when he discovered that, as they say in the video, fame and fortune followed. Fame, fortune, lots of money, because he started producing this dynamite. He set up to 90 factories to make dynamite because everybody wanted it. The whole of Europe, Russia, everyone wanted this dynamite. Next slide. Now, when you create a new product, see on top it says Alfred Nobel patented dynamite. What do you mean by patented? Next slide, please. When you create a new product, you register that product. It's a legal process. You register that product and you get a license. A license giving a sole or exclusive right to someone to exclude others, keep away others from making, using, or selling an invention. Now let's understand the sentence very slowly. You know what a license is. Everyone has a license. You have a car driving license, correct? You know what a license is. It's permission to do something, correct? Okay. Giving sole means only that person. If I say Altaf is the sole person who's allowed to read, means he's the only person who's allowed to read. Got it? Sole. A license giving only one person or one company an exclusive right to exclude others, keep away others from making, using, or selling an invention. Let's take a practical example so you can understand. Now, supposing Swati Sahu, who's here on my screen, Swati, supposing you make a fantastic app which everybody can use on their mobile phone. Okay, supposing she invents that app. Now, the minute she puts it out, what is going to happen? Everybody will copy her app. Is that not true? But that's not fair to Swati because she has spent maybe many, many years trying to to create that. In the same way, Alfred Nobel spent many, many years trying to create dynamite, right? So when she creates that app, she will patent it. She will patent it, which will mean nobody else can copy her app, make her app. Nobody else can use her app. Nobody else can sell her app. Got it? Now, if anybody else wants to use that, they have to pay Swati some amount of money for using her app. You get what I'm trying to say? When somebody has spent many years to invent something, when it comes out in the market, it should be patented. Register with the patent office and get a license. And that license means nobody else can make that, use that, or sell that without the permission of the inventor. Get it? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Thank you, Swati.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Pranali. Next slide, please. So when, Alfred Nobel had over 300 inventions and he patented all those. So he became obviously a very rich man because everybody who wanted to use that for any reason had to buy, either you had to buy the dynamite from him only, right? From his factories, or you had to pay him to use his technology to make it again, right? Now, all things that you use are patented. Your iPhone is patented, right? Your iPad is patented. Every new invention that we have today is patented. Google is patented, right? Every single thing has a patent. You can't use it without their permission. All right, great. So Alfred Nobel, obviously, as we all know, became a very, 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 very rich man. And what happened when he was a little older? Unfortunately, his brother died. And some newspaper journalists thought he died. So they wrote an article in a paper saying, calling him the merchant of death. Merchant of death. Tisha, can you please write it in the chat box? What do we mean by merchant of death? Who's a merchant? Who's a merchant? A
Can I say
person. Yes, please. Yes, please. Who's a merchant?
Vyapari.
Vyapari. Sorry, oh my God, I'm not supposed to speak in Hindi. Yes, a person who's a trader who buys or sells anything, he is a merchant. Merchant of death. A man who deals in death. That's what the newspaper called him. Why? Because, any idea? Because what was he making?
Dynamite.
He was making dynamite. He was making explosives. 300 patents on explosives and things to do with explosives. And they are being used also to kill people. So this is what the newspaper called him accidentally because they thought he had died. And so Alfred Nobel was very, very upset at this. He didn't make the dynamite with the intention to kill people, right? But to create a safer explosive. At heart, he was not a violent person. He was a pacifist. Pacifist, a person who believes in peace. This was just his invention, which was unfortunately being used to hurt other people. And so Alfred Nobel, when he was old, he made a will. What is a will? A will. Somebody read this to me, please. Unmute and read what is written on the slide. What is a will?
Ma'am, can I read?
Hello. Can I?
Read, please.
A legal document of a person's personal wishes regarding the giving away of their property, money and possessions after their death.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, ma'am.
A legal document. You know what the meaning of legal is, right? It's done by a lawyer. It is accepted by the court. It is a legal document of a person's personal wishes regarding the giving away of their property, money, and possessions after their death. Now, X person has all kinds of things. He has money, he has a house, any simple person, okay? Now, what is going to happen to that after he dies? So he wants to say, my house should be given to my daughter, so much money should be given to my son, so much money should be given to charity, so much money should be given to my sister, whatever he wants to do with his money, because it's his money, right? So he creates a will. He gets a lawyer to write out his wishes about his personal property. All right. What he wants to do with his personal property after his death. That is a will. Have you all understood? Have you all understood what a will is? Yes. So now Alfred Nobel, because he was so upset at being called this merchant of death and the sudden realization that a bit of what have I done, he made a will. Thank you, Sakshi, for saying you understood. He made a will giving away 94% of his wealth to something called the Nobel Foundation. All right? 94% of his wealth to the Nobel Foundation. And what was the idea of the Nobel Foundation? To find out people in the world who have contributed to human beings, and to quote Alfred Nobel, for the greatest benefit of mankind. Greatest benefit. So he set up the Nobel Foundation, which was to give a prize, 5 different prizes every year, to those who are working for the greatest benefit to mankind, right? He wanted to somehow make up for what he thought perhaps he had done, and therefore for the greatest benefit. Remember, he was actually at heart a pacifist, a peace-loving person. It was not his intention that these explosives should be used in a wrong way. So this is what he set up after his death. And so started this concept of the Nobel Prize. Next slide, please. Now the Nobel Prize.
The next is the video.
Oh, so if you could just, now
Yeah.
I'll just speak a little more then.
Okay.
The Nobel Prize has to be given, yes, Ayush?
Is will same as waris? Persons write the waris.
Waris is the person who benefits from the will. Okay,
वारिस लिखते ना कि
word
मेरा
for-
प्रॉपर्टी मेरे डेथ के बाद इनको ऐसे.
हाँ, correct. So waris means heir, or the person who's going to get everything. So usually you are your parents' waris or heir, right? Because all of their property, all of their belongings, you will get, right? So will is different. It means like kanuni ichha. Quite literally, it means that is what is written down, that this will go to this one, this will go to this one. So who benefits from it is called the waris, but the will is not called a waris. Does that help you understand?
Yes, it's very clear, I think.
Thank you, Ananya.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So he wanted these prizes for the greatest benefit to mankind, without worrying about where the person came from in the world. Remember, he's Swedish, he's in Europe, but the person can come from anywhere in the world, he said. The person can be a man, a person can be a woman. Only thing he said, the person should be alive to receive the award. Okay, you cannot give it to a person who's already passed away or already dead. The person has to be alive. And he set up five main prizes, which we will talk about later. And now we're going to have a little video to just revise what we have just spoken about. Thank you, Isha.
The Nobel Prize Awards explained simply. Meet Swedish inventor Alfred Nobel. He's known for inventing dynamite, a breakthrough in chemistry. However, having mostly invented explosives, he worried about how people would remember him. So when he died, he left most of his wealth in a trust to fund what would later be known as the Nobel Prizes. These prizes are a set of annual international awards given for landmark achievements or discoveries made during the preceding year. They are widely regarded as the most prestigious honors in the fields of literature, medicine, physics, chemistry, peace, and economics. A separate committee awards each prize, but the processes are similar. About 3,000 people, usually academics, have the right to nominate candidates. From these, the Nobel committees choose around 300 potential recipients and prepare a report reflecting the advice of experts. The prize-awarding institutions then select the laureates by a majority vote. Each winner receives a gold medal, a diploma, and a sum of money. There is a maximum of 3 laureates per award, except for the Peace Prize, which can be awarded to institutions. You surely know some of the most famous laureates. Ernest Hemingway won for writing The Old Man and the Sea. What would humanity look like without Alexander Fleming, who discovered penicillin? Albert Einstein won for discovering the law of the photoelectric effect. Martin Luther King Jr. showed the Western world that struggle can be won without violence. The only person to win 2 Nobel Prizes in different fields is Marie Curie, one for her work on radiation and another discovering radium and polonium. And the Red Cross won a record 3 Nobel Prizes, mostly for their work protecting the rights of prisoners of war. These are the Nobel Prizes. Make a positive impact and get yours.
Wow, if it was only so easy for us to get a Nobel Prize, right? So tell me, the 5 important Nobel Prizes that Alfred Nobel wanted. Can any of you all remember for what they were? Tell me even one if you can.
For chemistry,
Well done.
Physics,
Well done.
Economics.
Yes, economics came later. So that's the number 6, which I'm going to show on this hand. Yes. Pardon me?
literature,
Literature. Well done.
and economy.
Economics already said.
Ma'am, I think dynamite.
Dynamite is
business.
part of chemistry. Sorry.
business,
For
No.
peace.
For
Peace.
peace. Thank you. Last one. And maybe you missed that. It's for medicine. Okay. So let's go with the 5 first prizes set up by Alfred Nobel. Physics, chemistry, medicine, literature, and peace. Why? Physics, chemistry, medicine, his interests. Remember, he also used to write. Don't forget that. So literature. And he was at heart a pacifist. So peace. All right. So these were the 5 initial Nobel Prizes. So under the Nobel Foundation, you have Nobel committees to first invite nominations from specialized institutions. Now, if the Nobel Foundation can't know about everything, physics, chemistry, medicine, they can't be experts in everything, right? So they asked, "Hey Baba, gas cha baas ye the." I'm sorry, kids, give me a second. Lata, gas. Ekdam baas ye the, please. Sorry, mini emergency. So sorry about that. So he first, so you have all these experts who give advice and send nominations. All right. This is important because I'm going to come back to it later. Send nominations for each of these prizes, and then it is decided which person is going to get that Nobel Prize for the year. Now, as I said, it's an extremely prestigious award, and you saw there that the Nobel Prize winner gets 3 things, which we'll be coming to later. Isha, can we have the next slide, please? Yes, 3 things. He gets the gold medal, which you can see Alfred Nobel's face on it. You get this, what they call a diploma, which says exactly what it's for. We saw this diploma in the earlier class. Where did we see it, please?
Yes, Malala Yousafzai.
Thank you so much, Malala Yousaf. And who's got this one? Whose name is on this one?
Alfred Nobel.
Correct, because it's the Nobel Prize. But who is the person of getting the prize? The recipient of the prize. Who is the recipient? Please read. It's clear to me. Read it. It's in red. Come on.
Miss, it is starting with B.
Can't read it?
No, man.
Barack Obama.
Yes, Barack Obama. Sorry, you're all on phones and it may be very small. I apologize. I apologize for
And
that.
it is look
Thank
like a
you,
blur.
Tisha, for blowing it up for us. Barack Obama, right? So this is actually his diploma when he got the Peace Prize. Thank you, Tisha, for that. So they get 3 things: the medal, the diploma, and they get a money prize, which is the equivalent, and here this, guys, of 8.5 crore rupees. Okay, 8.5 crore rupees, with the value of the rupee that it is today, 8.5 crore rupees. So imagine how much money Alfred Nobel left in his will, that every year 6 people out of the interest of that money get a prize of 8.5 crores. Okay. So every person gets this. Now, if the prize can be shared, as they said, if it's shared by 2 people, then the money will be shared amongst the 2 people. All right. The rules say that only up to 3 people can share the prize, not over 3 people in a single year. Okay, did you understand that? So, for example, we may have the physics prize shared by 3 people, correct? Not over 3 people. Another thing the video told us, that only the Peace Prize can be given to institutions, not to individuals, but to institutions who have done great work for peace. All right. So these are what we know from the video and what I have again gone through with you. Next slide, please. So the next slide.
Ma'am, can I ask something?
Yes, please do ask.
Yes. That the video said कि peace के लिए institutions को Nobel Prize मिलेगा, but Malala Yousafzai is not a institute. She is one.
Sorry, Ayush, Peace Prize can be given to institutions, but
Malala Yousafzai को भी मिला है Peace Prize.
Yes, so Peace Prize can be given to an individual, can be given to 2 individuals, 3 individuals, or an institution, not only institution. It is rarely given to institutions, rarely. It is mostly given to people only. Ayush, got it? So usually it's given to people, only sometimes it is given to institutions. In fact, this year it has been given to an institution. United Nations refugee institution, that's what it's been given to. But usually it's given to people. Okay. So now here we have, am I clear, Ayush? Any further question?
No, ma'am.
Great, thank you. So this is our slide from before, which you all said Indian Nobel Prize winners. So I want to quickly run through with you what they got the prizes for. And anyone can tell me, please, Mother Teresa?
I know one thing.
Yes, please.
About Rabindranath Tagore, because he is a poet and That's why he get a Nobel Prize.
Yes, excellent.
And he is the first Indian to receive a Nobel Prize after a Russian.
First Indian to receive a Nobel Prize. Thank you, Subhojit. Is that Subhojit?
Yes.
Yes, we are going to discuss Rabindranath Tagore in detail later. But thank you for telling me, yes, he did win the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913. Or thank you so much. Mother Teresa, what did she win for? What you can imagine? Just guess. Sorry?
For social work.
Yes, so she won the Peace Prize, correct? So she won the Peace Prize. Very good, very good. Thank you. Amartya Sen, we saw him when we did Oxford and Cambridge. Won the Peace Prize for what? For what?
Economy.
Thank you. Yes, for economics. The subject is called economics. Okay, he won the Peace Prize for economics. Amartya Sen. The last person, Kailash Satyarthi. What did he win?
Peace Prize.
Peace Prize. Well done. Who said that?
Pranali.
Hi. So can you tell us something more about Kailash Satyarthi? Do you know anything more about him? Why did he win the Peace Prize?
He joined it with Malala Yousafzai.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe.
He got a joint prize with Malala Yousafzai. She and Kailash Satyarthi got the prize in the same year. I told you, na, more than one person can win.
Yes, ma'am.
Why did he get?
Yes.
Why did he get? Do you know? He worked. Yes, please.
Struggle against this children superstition.
मैम 10th स्टैंडर्ड में कैलाश सत्यार्थी के बारे में हम लोग को एक लेसन था बहुत बड़ा.
Yes, ma'am.
So what did you learn in that lesson? Because nobody can answer
About
me.
child education.
Very good, child education.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
What about it? He doesn't want children to, he wants them to be educated. He doesn't want them to.
बाल मजदूरी को क्या बोलते हैं?
Thank you. Come on, you know
Child
the
work.
word.
Child labor.
Well
child
done.
labor.
So
Child
he
labor,
was working, he has been working for many years to say that children should not be allowed to work. They should be given an education. Every child has a right to education. So he got the Peace Prize with Malala because both of them were working for child education, right? So Kailash Satyarthi has done some excellent work, and because of his work, the government has passed a law against child labor, right? It's passed a law against child labor. So if you employ, not you, but if a person employs a child, you can form a complaint against that person, and he will have to bear the penalty of having done that. You're not supposed to send children to work, and you're not supposed to employ children and exploit them at a young age. Children belong to school, right? That's what Kailash Satyarthi got his Nobel Prize for. Next slide, please. And in the next slide, we're seeing some more Indians, because I want to tell you a total of 10 Indians have won the Nobel Prize. 10 Indians, okay? It's not a big number, but we are very proud of our 10 Indians who have won Nobel Prizes. Who would like to read the first name, please?
Ma'am, can I?
Yes. Don't ask my
C.V.
permission, just read. Yes.
C.V. Raman.
C.V. Raman. Any idea why? For physics, right?
Physics.
Yes, he won for physics. He said that light travels at a different speed and wavelength depending on the surface through which it travels. Hey, all you physics people, you know very well, even in SSE, when light gets into water, it refracts, right? And it travels slower than it does through the air. Light travels differently depending on how it travels, through what it travels. And it was C.V. Raman who first discovered this, and this is why he got the Nobel. Second person, Har Gobind Khurana, and he got it for medicine. For medicine. He's an Indian. He was working in the US. and he got it for medicine. All right, the third one, Abhijit Banerjee. Abhijit Banerjee, anybody knows? Recent Nobel laureate. Just last year, Abhijit Banerjee got a Nobel Prize. Does anybody know for what?
Yes, ma'am.
Lovely.
He's
Tell me.
American economics.
For economics, but not Americans. For
But he's
economics.
Indian.
But
Yeah.
he's an Indian, but he has done a lot of work in India about poverty and about on people who are suffering in poverty and how to help them and how to bring their standard of living up. Thank you for that. Who knew that Abhijit Banerjee got it for economics?
Pranali Ilve.
Thank you, Pranali. Pranali, I'm happy to say that you listen to the news or you read a newspaper because this is so important. Now, if you see the name of Abhijit Banerjee, you should immediately know that he's a Nobel laureate. You should immediately know because it just happened last year, correct?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
can't be disconnected from current events. You have to know what is happening in the world. For that, you have to open a newspaper or you have to hear the news. Indian news and international news is available on every television, in every language. Listen to it. You can't be divorced from what is happening in the world. And the last person, V.S. Naipaul. V.S. Naipaul for literature. All right? He got it for literature. So definitely, thank you, Pranali. So these are our 10 Nobel laureates from India. Next slide, please. Two more. I'm sorry. That was 8. Nobody thought it was 8. Y'all are sleeping, huh? Nobody knows that 10 didn't go.
No, ma'am. I know that, but you
Thank
said
you.
that.
No, next time correct me.
Okay.
So, good. So, Subramaniam Chandrasekhar, again for physics, and Venkatraman Ramakrishnan also. So, these people were scientists. They were based in the US, which is where they were doing their research, but they are of Indian origin. So, we count them amongst our Indian Nobel laureates, and we are very proud of them. Next slide, please. And I'm going to spend a minute talking about some international Nobel laureates. You already know who these people are. Who would like to read their names out for me? Somebody who hasn't read, Gaurav? Gaurav, would you like to tell me who these people are? Their names, please.
Albert Einstein.
Yes, we all know who Albert Einstein is.
Yes.
Good. Next one.
Scientist.
Well done. Physicist, scientist. Next one.
Marie Curie.
Marie Curie. Anybody knows anything about Marie Curie? Okay, take the last person. You know him because we've done him in the US when we did the US. Who is this man?
Martin Luther King Jr.
What? Tell me something about him. Yes, Durgeshwari, I'll answer you later. Please give me a minute. Martin Luther King Jr. Which country? Which country, guys? Come on, everybody who's been with me on DK.
Africa.
No.
Maybe USA.
London.
Yes, USA. Who said USA? Maybe USA. You don't remember? I'm going to redo
He got the Nobel Prize for Peace.
Yes, he
Black
did.
and
But
white.
why? Why? Who was he fighting for?
At the there's classes now, first and second class, black and white.
French.
Yes, about people whose skin is darker, black people in the US fighting for their rights. Martin Luther King Jr. Yes, he's an important person. We had shown you a part of a speech which he delivered on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. Remember, I am going to redo that US class with y'all. Martin Luther King Jr. And in the middle, Marie Curie, who we've never seen before on GK classes. She is actually a brilliant lady who got 2 Nobel Prizes, 2, for physics and for chemistry in 2 separate years. Physics and chemistry. And she discovered radioactivity. When you go for a simple X-ray, have you been for an X-ray? You know what an X-ray is? Have anybody of your family been for an X-ray?
Yes.
Yes, it is radioactivity. And because of her, for the first time, you could look inside the body to see what it was. Your bones are broken, something else has happened because of radioactivity. Come on, all you science kids, you better wake up if you don't know this. Physics and chemistry, 2 Nobel Prizes, and a woman at that time, in that period when women were not even educated. Think about how brilliant she must have been.
Ma'am, this also lesson in 10th standard.
Then what are you doing in the, what were you doing
Marie
in the 10th
Curie.
standard? Sleeping? Because you can't answer a single question.
Yeah, she, yes, I know about this.
Tell me in Marathi. What do you know?
I don't remember, ma'am.
Oh, wonderful. 6 months away from the exam and we don't remember anything we studied. And then we sit in the
Sorry,
GK
ma'am.
class pretending like we don't know anything.
No, her story is very wonderful.
Yes, but we forgot
Not-
it.
Yes.
So she has 2 Nobel Prizes, okay? And one of those prizes she's won with her husband, Pierre, because he was a scientist too, but she was just way smarter than him. One of the prizes with her husband, couple prize. Very interesting, something we're going to see later. Next slide, please. So you'll know all these people somewhere. More international. Stephen Hawking. Who is he? Come on.
This is the greatest scientist.
Black hole. About
Yes, yes, yes. So what is that called? Big Bang Theory. Yes, it is.
Big Bang discover.
Cosmologist, astronomist, astrophysicist, right? So he got the Nobel for physics. We did a whole session with my son, A Star is Born. I mean, a story of a star. Forgot? Stephen Hawking. Yes, he was shown with the black holes. So he got a physics Nobel. Next one. We all know the man in the middle.
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama. For what? For peace, right? And the last one we know very well. I'm not going to waste any more time on
Malala Yousafzai.
Yes. Okay, so you know all the 3 people on this slide. Next slide, please.
Our national anthem.
Why am I showing you this, Subhojit, in the middle of the Nobel Prize?
Miss, because Rabindranath Tagore written this.
Yes, suddenly everybody's waking up because Rabindranath Tagore wrote this. And Rabindranath Tagore also received the
Nobel Prize.
Yes, thank you. Next slide, please. 2 lovely pictures on the next slide. Rabindranath Tagore with 2 very important people. Can somebody tell me?
Jawaharlal
And who?
And Jawaharlal Nehru.
Lovely, very good. With Albert Einstein, another Nobel laureate. Rabindranath Tagore traveled a lot and he was extremely well respected the world over. And he here, yes, please.
I want to add something.
Please do.
You said that any person who get Nobel Prize, he also receive 8.5 crore rupees.
Yes.
So Rabindranath Tagore, when he get that rupee, he may use that rupee on to build a building. It is called Shanti Niketan, which is there in West Bengal, Kolkata.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that information. I'm going to come to that. Excellent. Thank you. Please contribute to the discussion if you know anything, the way he just did.
No,
very good. Yes, please.
Pandit Jawaharlal
Yes, Pandit Jawaharlal
Nehru coming to 14 November birthday.
Yes, his birthday is on 14th
Celebrate
November.
the Children Day.
Is celebrated as Children's Day. But can you tell me something more important about him, please? He was the, who was he? He was the
Prime Minister.
First Prime Minister.
yes, thank you. The first Prime Minister of India. Okay,
India.
let's not forget that. First Prime Minister of India. Very good.
Children.
He loved children. Yeah.
Yes.
Small point on the side. Okay, he loved children. All right. So let's talk about Rabindranath Tagore for a second, please. He was a poet. He was a writer. He
Yeah.
was a painter. And he was a songwriter, which is a composer. And
Yeah.
he composed over 2,000 songs, of which Jana Gana Mana is one of them. And you know, the Jana Gana Mana we sing is only one verse from the Jana Gana Mana. The Jana Gana Mana is much longer. It is called Sampurna Jana Gana Mana, and it is very long, but it's beautiful. And he also, among his other very, very beautiful songs, has composed a song which has been taken as the national anthem of another country. Anybody know that?
Yes, Bangladesh.
Well done. Oh my God,
Amar,
Subhojit's an authority on Rabindranath.
no, ma'am, because I am from West Bengal, that's why I know about Rabindranath Tagore.
Very good. Very good.
He sing the song Amar Sonar Bangla.
Very good. And what does Amar Sonar Bangla mean, Subhojit, if you speak
Means
Bengali?
it is like a gold in Bengal.
Yes, exactly. Bengal like gold. He's comparing Bengal, which is his home country also, his
Because,
home
ma'am,
area. Yes.
because when India and means Pakistan were joined to each other, it is only called India. But when they are separate, the East Pakistan is known as a Bangladesh when they are separated. That's why before that, Rabindranath Tagore sing that song, released that song, Amar Sonar
Yes,
Bangla.
yes, yes. He wrote the song Sojit much, much before, okay, during the British time, when India, Pakistan, and East Pakistan, which is today Bangladesh, were one big country. It was called the Indian subcontinent. It was one big country, right, before partition. But when Bangladesh became an independent country, they took this song, Amar Sonar Bangla, as Sojit told us, as their national anthem, which just shows you what a great man Rabindranath Tagore was. And as he very correctly said, Rabindranath Tagore, a man of great learning and very interested in education, established two universities. One was called Vishwa Bharat University and the other Shantiniketan, which is still there and functioning very much in West Bengal, in the state of West Bengal in India. Many people go to that university and they teach in a very different manner.
Ma'am, I want to add something.
Yes, please.
In Shantiniketan, the Nobel Prize is there, which Rabindranath Tagore get in that Nobel Prize time.
Lovely. That is lovely. Next slide, please. The next slide shows us how Rabindranath Tagore believed in education, but of a different type. He did not believe in classroom education. He believed that the teacher is like a guru and his students are shishya. And the teacher guides the student through life, not only for studies, but for everything, emotion, mental, spiritual, how they should lead their lives, what is right and wrong, what is important and what is not. So this was the Guru Shishya Parampara, which Rabindranath Tagore sought to achieve in Shantiniketan. They would often sit with their students in the gardens, under the trees, and have discussions with everybody being able to give their point of view, which is how Rabindranath Tagore thought that people should be taught. And I'm going to quote something from Rabindranath Tagore, where he said that he didn't like classroom education. He said a student in a classroom is like a parrot in a cage. You understand what I'm saying? A parrot in a cage who is force-fed textbooks which the teacher wants to force feed. So a parrot in a cage, a metaphor for a student in a classroom. Like a parrot is locked up in the cage, the student is locked up in the classroom. How we feed the parrot what we want to feed, right? We want to feed the parrot a chili, we feed him a chili. We want to feed him sugar, we feed him sugar. In the same way, the child in the classroom is force fed. By force, he is fed information. And he has to take that information that he is given. And this is what Rabindranath Tagore didn't like. He wanted an open mind, freedom in the mind, that the child and the student should be free to learn what they wanted to learn, to absorb information, to discuss freely their points of view. This was Rabindranath Tagore's way of education, personal guidance, and allowing the child to bloom the way the child is meant to bloom. Great. Next slide, please. I wanted to spend this one extra minute on Rabindranath Tagore, please, and hear the most world famous book, now translated into almost all languages, for which he got the Nobel Prize. He received the Nobel Prize for this outstanding work in 1913. All right. The first non-European person to get a Nobel Prize for literature. Imagine at that time for an Indian to win a Nobel Prize for a book that is not written in any language that Europeans can understand. The book is written in Bengali. Rabindranath Tagore wrote mostly in Bengali. And still he got the Nobel Prize, which is credit not only to Rabindranath Tagore, but also to the Nobel Committee, so that they could see brilliance and genius in another part of the world, in another language, and recognize it with such a prestigious award. So it shows the greatness of both Rabindranath Tagore and of the Nobel Prize Committee. Next slide, please. So here are some fun facts as we are ending on the Nobel Prize. Who would like to read the first one? Rekha, would you like to read the first fact out, please?
Sure, ma'am. Out of 962 Nobel laureates, only 57 are women.
Yes. Isn't that sad? Only 57 are women. Any ideas why that could be? Any ideas why it could be? Nobel Committee doesn't like women, is that it?
No, ma'am.
Then what do you think?
Ma'am, in those days, women not to...
Girls not allowed to education.
Exactly. Girls are not allowed to be educated, and definitely not higher education, right? At the most, they would be taught how to read and write, but they would not be taught higher education. So it's so difficult. How can they possibly win in physics or chemistry or medicine or economics or, right? So only 57. The second one. Suvida, would you like to read the second point, please? Suvida, are you there? Would you like to read the second point, please? No? Would somebody else like to read the second point, please? Sankesha?
No.
Ria, read. Come on, you've unmuted.
Okay, miss. Marie Curie was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. She was the only woman to win two prizes.
Yes, imagine winning 2 prizes at that time. Brilliant. The third. Komal, would you like to read, please? Sometimes I wonder if yes, please. Who wants to read? Okay, Sejal, please read.
6 married couples won the Nobel Prize.
Yeah, isn't that strange? Married couples working together on the same discovery, right? On the same invention, I'm sorry, won the Nobel Prize, right? 6 married couples. Out of that, I already told you one married couple was Marie Curie and her husband. And a second one, we are going to see at the end of this when we see this video. I'm wondering whether people like Komal Dubey are really there. Komal, are you there? I see names on my screen, but I see nobody there. Yes, she's there. Komal, can you hear me now? You just unmuted. Can you hear me? I think she's having trouble. She's there, but she's having trouble. Right? Okay. Number 4.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, please.
Hello?
Yes, please read number 4.
Okay. 6 married couples won the Nobel Prize.
Yes, we finished that. Number 4, please.
Malala Yousafzai was the youngest person to win a Nobel Prize.
Thank you so
and
much.
fifth last, Mahatma
Yes.
Gandhi never won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes. So Malala Yousafzai, thank you so much. Malala Yousafzai,
Mahatma Gandhi never won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that. He never won the Nobel Peace Prize. Isn't that strange? The first person who won independence through non-violence. So many people, the whole world was impressed with him, including Martin Luther King.
Ma'am, because he was dead.
Yeah. Who said that?
Me, Ajmer.
Ajmer. Yes. Mahatma Gandhi was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. And he was the outstanding candidate for that year. And they wanted to give him the prize. But unfortunately, Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated. You know, he did not die a natural death, right? When somebody is killed in this violent way, we call it an assassination. And unfortunately for us, Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated before he could get the Nobel Peace Prize. So he was indeed nominated. And the Nobel Committee said something very wonderful and very touching about that. And if you give me a second, I'm going to quote it. Yes, here. They said, Gandhi could do without the Nobel Prize. Gandhi can do without the Nobel Prize. The question is, can the Nobel Prize Committee do without Gandhi? What do you think that means? Someone like to offer an explanation?
Means that
Yes.
it means that Gandhi can do anything without Nobel Prize, but Nobel Prize can't do without Gandhi because he is a freedom fighter for India and he can do anything for India and for our country.
Okay, good try. Would also like someone else also like to help out with an explanation for that? Gandhi could do without the Nobel Prize. Whether the Nobel Committee can do without Gandhi is the question. Help out. Come on, mentors, let's help out.
Ma'am,
Yes?
Mahatma Gandhi, he was a great person.
Yes.
So Nobel Prize in front of him very little.
Yes. Yes, Ajmer, you're doing very well.
So what type of prize to get him to honor him?
So, Ajmer says, Mahatma Gandhi was such a great person. He did not need a prize to make him greater, right? He was already so great, the world knew and highly respected him. You know, so many Britishers also highly respected him. Even though he fought for freedom and thug out them from our country, they respected him, right? Because of his non-violent movement, for that reason. So he said the Nobel Committee, which is supposed to be the greatest, most prestigious, says that we have nothing to give Gandhi, but it's our loss that we didn't give him, that his name is not in our list of Nobel Prize winners. It's our loss, right? So whether the Nobel Prize winner committee, how can we do without Gandhi? Gandhi can do without us. History will always honor him. History will always recognize him. History will always put him amongst the greatest people who have lived. But what will Nobel do? Because they never got a chance to have him on their list of Peace Prize winners. So well done, everybody. We're going to end with a small video of the most recent Indian Nobel Prize laureate, Abhijit Banerjee, last year, who got it for economics. Interestingly, he got it with his wife, okay, Esther Duflo. She is a foreigner, but married to Mr. Banerjee for many years. They are co-researchers in economics and co-professors, and they came up with this theory of in economics, which they got the prize together as a couple. We said 6 couples got, so they are one of them. I want to show you the video because I want you to see this. This is happening. This happened in Sweden. The Nobel Prize ceremony is a very, very, very important. It's like when we give the Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan when the President of India gives it at Rashtrapati Bhavan. This is given by the King and Queen of Sweden. It is a very, very big function. You can see how formally everybody is dressed, right? They are dressed very formally. However, very often and interestingly, the people who get the Nobel Prizes, the Nobel Prize recipients or the Nobel laureates often dress in their own national dress to honor their own country, right? So you are going to see that also. You're going to see the King and Queen. Sweden is a constitutional monarchy. Ting, ting, ting.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, King and Queen as the head of the country in a ceremonial way. They have a parliament, right? So constitutional monarchy, but they are there for all great ceremonies. And this, of course, is one of the greatest ceremonies around the world. So have a look. It's lovely. Note Abhijit Banerjee's wife. She is not Indian, but please note what she has also won. And what a great honor it is for him and for the country. Kisha is going to play the video. Thank you, Kisha.
One thing, I think we skipped it, is to talk about what happens in Norway.
Yes, I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. We skipped it. As I said, there were the first 5 prizes, right? Quickly, physics, chemistry, medicine, literature, and peace. Much later in the 1960s, a sixth prize was given, and that was for economics, which is the prize we're seeing now, given in Sweden. However, for some reason, Kisha, I don't know the reason, one of these 5 prizes, which is the Peace Prize, is not given in Sweden. It is given in Norway, which was the neighboring country of Sweden, and it is given by the King of Norway. Okay, Kisha, is there any other information you want to add to that?
No,
thank you. Yeah, which is why we were also showing Norway on that initial map.
Yes, I have some.
Yes.
In the city of Oslo.
Very good.
Norway.
Norway. The capital of Norway is Oslo, and the capital of Sweden is Stockholm. So this ceremony, because it's economics, is happening in Sweden, in the capital city of Stockholm. And you're going to see the King and Queen of Sweden. You're going to see Abhijit Banerjee, and you're going to see his wife, Esther Duflo, who are co-laureates. They won it together as a couple just last year. Let's watch the video. Thank you.
Dear Professors Banerjee, Duflo, and Kramer, you have introduced a way of conducting research that helps us better to understand the root causes of poverty, as well as to find effective ways of alleviating it. The experimental approach you pioneered has transformed research in development economics. The research that follows this approach has already influenced policy, and it keeps improving our ability to help those in most need. It's an honor and a privilege to convey to you, on behalf of the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences, our warmest congratulations. May I now ask you to receive your prizes from His Majesty the King.
Professor Abhijit Banerjee was born in Mumbai in India and lives in Boston, where he works as a professor at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the United States. And he is the husband of the one of the other economics laureates. We see here Esther Duflo, born in 1972 in Paris, France, also works at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Boston, actually just 2 doors away from Abhijit Banerjee at the economics department. And
thank you, Keisha. Thank you. So I thought that was a lovely way of seeing the, we can stop the PPT, thank you. I thought that was a lovely way of seeing the Nobel Prize ceremony. And since they were speaking in English, we could see what was happening. Did you see them bowing to the king? Bowing to the statue of Alfred Nobel at the back? Did you see the statue? And then bowing to the audience because they were clapping for them. And as I said, a proud moment for India, because as they said, he was born in Mumbai. He works, of course, in the US. And development economics, they had concentrated on work for developing countries, countries which have high levels of poverty and low standards of living, very much like our country. And a lot of their theories are now being used by government to improve the condition of the people. Right? So it's not only that you come up with something, a great idea, but then that idea gets used for the greatest benefit of mankind, which is what Alfred Nobel wanted. He wanted that to be his legacy, a legacy, something you leave behind when you die, how people think about you. You know, today, we don't think so much of the dynamite. We didn't know about it, but everybody knows what the Nobel Prize is, right? So I'm so happy that we had the session. Yes, Ojit.
I want to add something. You see that Abhijit Banerjee wear the traditional wear of India, that dhoti, but
yes, ma'am.
But he was not scared about that he receive a Nobel Prize and he wear that traditional wear dhoti.
Yes, he was not scared, as you say. Why should you be scared? Tell me. Why should Subhojit feel that he should be scared?
No, because all the members of that committee, they are wearing that blazer and that pant, but he wear that blazer and
they are wearing they're not only wearing a simple suit, they're wearing a dress suit, which is like for the most formal of formals occasions, right? You wear that, but he is wearing his traditional, and that shows us something. What does it show us?
Indian culture.
Yes, not Indian culture, but how much he respects where he's come from, right, Subhojit? Yes. He's not forgotten that he was a Bombay boy many, many years ago, and this is where he's come from. And I feel even something, what about his wife's clothes? What did that tell us?
Sari.
Yeah, why would she wear? She's born in Paris.
But he Ma'am, she is Indian or
No, she was born in Paris. She's a French lady.
because he respect her husband. That's why
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, and perhaps she also respects, yeah, our Indian culture and she loves it maybe in her own way. And she's married to him, so perhaps, or perhaps just for some little bit of excitement at that ceremony to show up in a beautiful sari and give a little importance to India, right? So whatever her reason was, but it was lovely. And I thought that was a nice way to stop the class. So thank you everybody for being with us. Yes,
Sorry.
more questions?
Before you end, Durgeshwari had a question about what literature is.
Ah, thank you. What is literature? Come on, help me. Who's going to help me with this? Unmute and speak. Don't worry.
Basically, arts.
Ma'am.
One at a time. Yes.
Sahitya means art, singing, dancing.
Those are the arts.
Those are the arts.
Yeah. Roshali
Yes.
was saying
Ma'am,
something.
can I?
Yes, yes.
Means Marathi Sakshar or Nirakshar.
Tell me, yes, but what does it consist of in English? What does it have? You know those words, they are so easy. What would be there in, yes, Ayush, what would be there in literature?
Writing work like poeting and that script writing.
All right. Poetry, he says,
Drama.
and script writing. Anything more? Yes, someone said something.
Drama.
Drama, lovely.
Sheetal is typing in the chat box. She said
Short
drama.
stories. Thank you, Sheetal. Lovely. Short stories. Lovely. Poetry, drama, script writing, short stories, long stories, novels, biographies, true life stories, right? Stories which are from your imagination, fiction, which are novels, stories based on fact, stories based on fiction. All those things are literature. Short, long, whatever, right? That's all literature, all right? So actually in our FIJC English textbook, which we are racing through now, so proud of that, our first two sections, prose and poetry, that's literature, right? The third section are writing skills, that's not literature. That's teaching us how to write better, right? So our first two sections are literature, and there's some of literature in the last section too, but we've not come to that. It's drama. That's also part of literature. Great. Any other questions? Thank you for that, Durgesh. Please ask.
Thank you.
Like, please don't feel ashamed to ask because you feel, oh, this is such a simple question and I don't get it. It's fine. You don't get it because perhaps you've been to school in a different language. So that's absolutely fine. I don't get almost everything in Marathi. That doesn't matter. I can ask, right? So that's what we're here for. Ask. Anyone else? Anyone else? No? So if we're done, Keisha, can we shut the live, please? Thank you so much, everybody. Just wait on